Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the local St. Charles podcast. I'm Ken Tucker, your host. And today I'm joined by Kyle Gaines, who's the Director of Community Relations at the St. Charles County Ambulance District. Welcome, Kyle.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you. I always love talking to you. We've known each other for a long time, and what you guys do is so important to the community. So I love, to have you on to just explain what all you do and the areas you cover. So could you start with what is SCAD, the ambulance district, and also what part of St. Charles County you cover?
Sure, that's a very big question, and I think we could actually fill the entire time with just the response to that question. But I will do my best to give you the nickel tour here.
All right.
St. Charles County Ambulance District is the largest ambulance district in the state of Missouri. We
Wow.
cover 592 square miles, all municipalities, all unincorporated areas of St. Charles. So that means whether you live in Cottleville, St. Charles, Augusta, St. Peters, Portage de Sioux, Lake St. Louis, or any unincorporated area in between, we're going to take great care of you if you ever need us. We are an organization that stays incredibly busy here in St. Charles County. Um, we responded to more than 50,000 calls for service last year. We do that with a combination of 911 units that operate from stations spread throughout St. Charles County, and I think we're going to get into where some of those are located a little bit later.
Yeah.
And we also have a surge division that handles not only some of those 911 calls, but they also handle non-emergency transfers. Say, for instance, if somebody needs to go do some skilled nursing after an inpatient stay for a hip replacement or something like that, they handle those types of calls. We've also got specialty teams like our critical care transfer team, urban search and rescue, tactical EMS, and a slew of others to provide optimal patient care for St. Charles County.
Yeah. Awesome. So I know you guys recently opened up a couple of new stations. Can you tell me a little bit about those, like where they're at, and how are things working out at those stations in terms of being able to deliver services?
Okay, so back in 2018, our community very generously approved a $70 million bond issue called Proposition Ambulance. And we have been ticking through projects in that were funded by that bond. It was our 10-year capital improvement plan. And the most recent two that we undertook were new stations in Harvester and St. Peters. One of those is located at the corner of Woodstone there in St. Peters, just north of 364. And the other one is at the corner of Cox Hill and Towers down in the Harvester area. Now, prior to this, obviously, we had coverage in that area, but it was one unit covering that entire swath of the community. As you guys know, if you lived here for any length of time, that Harvester area is very densely residential in
Yeah.
terms of population. All of those streets like Dingledine, Kisker, Greens Bottom, Cox Hill, all of that keeps us very busy down there just due to population density. And then as you come a little bit further north, you've got that 364 corridor that also keeps us very busy. So prior to last December, that whole area was served by one unit. It operated out of a station on a little street called Sycamore, which is basically, if you know where the KFC is, off Old 94, there by the Jungerman Walmart. That's where we were located, and that truck ran, very, very busy. So we identified this as an area of need because, candidly, some of our response times could have been a little bit better down in those southernmost areas down south. Far south down Cox Hill, down even further south of Towers. And we wanted to improve upon those. And that's one thing that we high priority identified in that 10-year capital plan. And we got the projects wrapped up right before the end of the year last year. I believe they opened first week of December and have really done a lot to improve response times down in that portion of the community. We've got a few more that are on the docket that are also included in that 10-year capital plan that we'll be releasing more details on as we get some land acquisition deals finalized in the next few months.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. So, I mean, it's great you're able to open new stations and new facilities. I know the job market's tough in a lot of different sectors. How is it for you guys? I mean, are you guys able to hire paramedics for the new trucks? And if so, How are you guys handling that? I think I actually saw you on TV not too long ago.
Yes. So I don't know that there is a single profession or industry that has been untouched by the staffing challenges that we found ourselves in. That really kind of ramped up during COVID, but I think has snowballed into something far beyond COVID. Healthcare in particular was hit hard. I believe the stats say that 30% of healthcare workers either retired, decided to do something else. We didn't see as dramatic a shift as that, which we're very thankful of. But the fact of the matter is, we are going to need to fill about 100 paramedic positions over the next 10 or so years. We know this because of new additions to the fleet, retirements among our own staff that we currently have. We know this is going to be a need. We've kind of taken a multi-pronged approach to this. I will be very honest with you that our hiring processes do not draw the numbers that they once did. When we put a new truck up, because of the nature of our scheduling, a new ambulance translates to about 6 new paramedic positions because we have an A, B, and C shift.
Okay.
And it was not uncommon in years past for us to have 80, 90, 100 applicants for 6 positions. And now it may be 20, 25. So it has been a shift, but we have done some things to try and spur movement on that front, because we know that more is coming, and we know we're going to need to welcome more members to our team. And candidly, we want to keep up the same level of service that we currently offer. We have a rock star team of clinicians, and we have no interest in sacrificing quality just because we need to grow our team. We want to keep that high level. So one prong to this effort came last November, and that was when our community overwhelmingly said yes to Proposition Paramedic. And that was a general tax levy increase of 7 cents. And what that is enabling us to do is help with our wage structure, help with our benefits, things like that, to bring us in line with some other agencies that we are, quite honestly, competing with. What we found is that we were always kind of what I would call upper middle, and we had kind of slid. Others had risen up, and then we were not at that level anymore. We were also competing with some private EMS organizations that are able to offer things like pretty substantial sign-on bonuses, shift bonuses, things of that nature, that being tax funded, we were not able to do those things. But again, our voters were very generous and said, yes, we want to keep up this level of service, and we will start receiving those funds in 2024. So that's when we'll be able to implement some of those enhancements to our compensation structure. So we're very, very thankful for that. But it's not just about, money fixes a problem. That's not going to, I think many businesses will tell you, you can't just throw money at something and expect it to be fixed. So we're taking some innovative strategy and implemented something called the Paramedic Exploration Academy. And that's working with our high schools here in St. Charles County, both public and private. We offer a 5-week in the evening opportunity, about 90-minute sessions, for young people who may be gravitating toward a medical career, or maybe gravitating toward a first responder career, to kind of come in and hear about what all we do. And it's not just hearing, it's also touching, feeling, and seeing what all we do. We do a lot of hands-on activities with simulation, things like IV starts, intubation starts, things of that nature, to let them, for lack of a better term, get their hands dirty and see if this is something that appeals to them.
Yeah.
So we just wrapped up our second class of that. Got some really great feedback from the students. Some sharp young people have gone through this program. We've put about 45 through the program already. Time will tell if that spurs into more EMT program and paramedic program registrations, but we're very encouraged by the numbers we're seeing thus far.
Yeah. I talked to, the name of the company just went out of my mind, a couple of weeks ago on this episode. Scholar Path.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you guys doing anything with them? They've got some really cool, innovative approaches.
We are not partnered up with Scholar Path at this time. A
Okay.
lot of what we're doing is pretty similar. We do some partnership with the St. Charles County CAPS program. They have
Okay.
been long-standing partners. And we also have really worked to get engaged with the HOSA groups within the high schools. That's Health Occupation Student Association,
Okay.
and kind of future health professionals. And so we try and do a lot of programming with them, everything from just EMS overview to CPR education, to help young people understand that this is an awesome career path. If medicine is something that you're interested in, it's not quite as long of an education path as going the pre-med route, or even a 4-year nursing program. You can be career ready in about 2 years, and after an EMT program and a paramedic program. So it's maybe not something that young people have fully considered, or may not even knew that it was an option. So we're working to get in and help young people understand that this is something that's a great career, offers an opportunity to be what we call an autonomous practitioner, working under the direction of a medical director, but managing those problems that we see day to day on your own in the back of an ambulance really gives somebody an opportunity to make a true difference in their community.
Yeah, absolutely. So are you guys totally publicly funded, or are you able to get, charitable donations and things like that?
We can accept charitable donations. We work with some grant funding agencies, mainly more on our safety program side than the true operation side. But our budget is a little bit unique in that we are funded by property taxes, both real and personal property. But there is a user fee that applies if somebody uses the 911 service. And most of those user fees obviously are paid by insurance agencies like Blue Cross Blue Shield, UMR, Medicare, Medicaid, things like that.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, the reason I mention it is because today's Give STL Day, and I didn't know if you guys had a campaign, but if you did, I certainly encourage everybody to donate to any nonprofits or any organizations that can accept donations.
Well,
But
and you hit the
such
nail
an
on the head
important.
there, and that I mean, St. Charles County is filled with nonprofits doing awesome things, and we do a lot of partnership with many of those nonprofits.
Yeah.
For instance, Community Living, wonderful, wonderful organization, and we partner with them. Some of their volunteers work with us to assemble our files of life. Tremendous benefit to us. We are so thankful for everything they do. We do a lot of summertime programming with the Boys and Girls Club, where we go out and meet with their camp kids. We do a Halloween safety partnership with our library district. So we really do pride ourselves on our nonprofit network here in St. Charles County is absolutely outstanding, and we really enjoy the opportunity to partner with quite a few of them, actually.
Yeah. Awesome. So in St. Charles County, I haven't heard any statistics over the last few years, but I know in general our county has tended to get older in terms of overall population age and things like that. And as we get older, obviously there's an opportunity for us to have some more healthcare issues, or even different types of healthcare issues than we're younger. What do you guys have any programs? Well, I'm sure you guys have programs in place, to just kind of help, an aging population to be more aware of how to handle particular situations, and what kinds of programs do you have?
We do offer a number of safety programs, really for residents of all ages. We start down with kiddos who aren't even born yet by offering child safety seat installs for parents, grandparents, things like that. But for our older population, we have a couple of programs that we have offered for many years that really, really work well in tandem with one another. The first is called File of Life, and that is just a simple, easy way for residents to chart out medical conditions that they have, meds that they take, where their important paperwork is located in the home, things like an advance directive that you may want us to bring with us to the hospital. Once they take and fill out all that information, we give them a clear plastic sleeve with a magnet on the back. It goes up on the fridge. We give you a little sticker to put on your storm door or a window near your front door. And then as the paramedics are walking into your house, they see the sticker, they go grab your file of life, easy peasy, we've got the info that we need. It's quick to complete, takes about 5 minutes. It's 100% free. We have them at all of our stations. We have them at our headquarters facility. If you see us out and about at the grocery store, you're more than welcome. We all carry them on our trucks.
All right.
Feel free, ask for one of them. And the more of them we have out in our community, the better, because it just gives our crews a little bit more info in the event that somebody's not able to effectively communicate with us at the time of their emergency. That might be because of symptoms they're experiencing, or it might just be because that's a pretty emotionally charged situation. And, if you're having crushing chest pain, you're probably not going to recall every single medication that you're taking at that time.
Absolutely.
That's okay. We understand that it's stressful.
Right.
The other program we offer is one called Rapid Access. And what that is a safe entry program for our paramedics. We rolled this one out, gosh, it's been close to 15 years ago now, but it has saved many a front door in St. Charles County. It is a little key safe that we have available at the district. We buy them locally from our Home Depot out in O'Fallon. They've been a tremendous partner in this endeavor. That's probably something you're going to notice here. There's a lot of partnership that goes on. We rely heavily on our community to help us out with doing the work that we do. But those key safes are available. We will deliver and install them if the resident wants to, or they can just swing by and pick one up if they want to. We collect name, address, phone number, and then they pick a 4-digit code, put a house key inside. It goes on the door jamb right outside, the front door. And the code info is stored in the countywide computer system very securely. If there's ever a 911 call at that residence, it's available to the paramedics who are responding, and also to any fire apparatus that are dispatched on that call. They can hear the code, get the key out, get in quickly and safely. And that way, if somebody ever has a fall or is having symptoms that render them unable to get to the front door, we don't have to come in by force using our sledgehammer.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned that you've got a lot of great community partners. I know the community, we obviously rely on you guys as well so much. So thank you, for you and your team, for everything you guys do, because it's just incredibly important. And it's refreshing to hear that, our community as a whole is supporting you guys in, the propositions that you're putting forward. And I'm sure, you guys spend a lot of time thinking through those, and it makes it easier for people to say, okay, I'm willing to pay some more in extra taxes because I understand, where my money's going to be going. And you guys always
really
done a fantastic job.
And we try and do that to every extent that we can. We try and stay engaged. It's why we do things like the Chambers of Commerce. It's why we are always willing to come out and share health and safety information with homeowners associations and church groups and things like that. Because, we're there for a health related reason, maybe doing a CPR class or whatever, but I never miss an opportunity to share with people what their investment is paying in dividends for their community, because it's important that people know those things. I mean, last night, for instance, Elliot Davis came out and highlighted how we handle our fleet maintenance, how we do remounts of our ambulances, that over 8 years saved taxpayers $2 million here in our community. And it's things like that we try and we have a lot of systems in place to try and operate as efficiently as we possibly can and give our community the best bang for their buck.
Yeah, absolutely. So my next question is, I know you don't like to talk about yourself, but I do know that you just recently won an award, I believe, from the Athena Leadership Foundation. Just tell me a little bit about that. You've been so involved and so instrumental in our community that you deserve a little praise. And I know it's never comfortable, but I'd love to hear from you.
It's not. You'll see me going a little bit more red here in your video, but incredibly humbling is the only way I know to describe it. That I walked down to my boardroom for what I thought was a meeting a few weeks ago, and had a room full of women and men that I admire in this community, folks like Karen Engler, Barb Griffith, Heather Bell, Bruce Sawatsky, and a slew of others waiting for me down there, while Julie Seymour from the Child Advocacy Center let me know that I had been selected for this honor. And the Ally Award is a male individual who has demonstrated support and championing women in business in our community. And tries to be inclusive and build up others and things of that nature. And again, incredibly humbling experience. And it's an easy thing to do, to champion and support whenever there are so many women in our community that are bringing forth bold strategies, innovative ideas, and new ways of thinking that just improve our community as a whole. So it's really kind of hard not to get on board with these awesome ideas that these folks are bringing forward. But it certainly was an awesome day of celebration, and several other very deserving honorees that day. Again, my friend Karen Engler was named received the Athena Leadership Award. A friend from Chamber, Lydia Allen, received the Business of the Year award from them. So it was great to be in wonderful company.
Yeah, yeah, that's fantastic. Well, congratulations to you.
Thank
I mean, I know you, and I know you absolutely deserve it. So that's fantastic. So I also know that I saw some posts on social media where you guys are doing some really cool things around CPR training. Is that something you offer free to groups or to businesses? And if so, how does somebody take advantage of that?
We sure do, and we would love to hear from any group in this community that wants to undertake that training. Of course, through our training center, we can do the certification card classes. And some businesses, typically those with an OSHA requirement or are more healthcare related in general, they probably have to have that certification training. But you know what, Ken? Most businesses are under no obligation to have the card training, the official, you're good for 2 years kind of CPR card. And what we say is you don't need a card in your wallet to save somebody's life. You just have to be ready, willing, and able to check, call, and compress. And that's what we try and teach through our Lifesaver CPR for Business classes. This is about a 45-minute training that I and my team come out and administer. We try and be as flexible as possible with businesses and, church groups and HOA groups and really anybody who will have us. Ideal group size is usually around between 15 and low to mid 20s. That's generally our sweet spot, but we can go a little higher or a little bit lower. There is no cost whatsoever to the training. We just simply cover hands-only CPR, how to use an AED. We also talk a little bit about Missouri's Good Samaritan law, because there's still misinformation out there that people think they can somehow be held legally liable if the patient doesn't survive that cardiac arrest, or if maybe they break a rib during the process. And that couldn't be any further from the truth. You are protected from liability. And we make sure people walk away with a good understanding of that. Funny you bring that up. I've actually got a class later this afternoon for some friends over at the library district that we're going to be offering that training. So if anybody watching, listening today is interested in that, they can just get a hold of our office at 636-344-7600 and just ask to be connected with me. We'll get you on the books and be glad to come out to your business. We will go anywhere in St. Charles County and offer that.
Awesome. So what if an individual who's not really connected into a group would want to participate in one of those programs? Are they still able to come and join other groups that are happening?
If it is an individual, hit me up. I'll see if we can get you paired up with one of our other groups that we're doing. But we also have a completely separate arm of the district that's affiliated but not truly connected. It's our nonprofit organization, SCAD Outreach. It's a 501c3 comprised of paramedics who work here and are also passionate about CPR education. And where you will find them is out doing more large-scale trainings, things like Pride St. Charles, County Fair, things of that nature. They're out there, have just a booth available where people can swing by, learn the skills in a much more abbreviated time frame that they offer that kind of training. But either way, if you're interested, give us a shout. We'll try and pair you up with the next available opportunity.
Yeah, awesome. So Kyle, what else should people know about the St. Charles County Ambulance District that we haven't talked about?
I think people need to know that they've got an elite level service here in St. Charles County. Some folks around here kind of don't like to toot our own horn, so to speak, and I'll do it for us and as an organization. I'm just not a big fan of doing it for me as an individual.
Right.
We offer so much in the way of programming, in the way of initiatives to help our community. Things that if you've never had any touch point with us, you would have absolutely no idea. Families, for instance, who have got a very complex special needs pediatric patient. We've got our STARS program for that, and that's special needs tracking, awareness, and response, where we work with our pediatric specialty hospitals so that our paramedics are ready and prepared to tackle whatever those special needs kiddos may have going on. These are kids that suffer from very severe seizure disorders or may have a trach or something of that nature.
Okay.
We're able to deliver optimal care to those kiddos. That in combination with the equipment we carry and the training that we undergo, we earned level 1 pediatric ready status from Missouri EMS for Children. So we're very, very proud of that. I think I mentioned very quickly a little while ago, our Urban Search and Rescue group. That is a group that is comprised of, I like to call them our jack of all trades team members that are trained in everything from swift water rescue to hazmat to structural collapse. To trench rescue. They are the ones for the very unique scenarios that are ready, willing, and able to take care of our community if very adverse conditions come our way. Our tactical EMS group is paired up with our county SWAT team. Mobile Integrated Health is pairing up with our hospitals and insurance providers here in our community to try and help individuals suffering from chronic health conditions, trying to help them stay out of the hospital, working with them to take control of those chronic health conditions. Because we get it, it's a drag. Nobody wants to use the ambulance and have to go to the hospital. It's not on anybody's to-do list. So our mobile integrated health paramedics are working hard on that front. So even, I mean, these things are probably things most in our community had no idea were happening. But they are, I mean, because you know us for the lights and sirens, you know us for the car wrecks and
Right.
the cardiac arrests and those kinds of things. But there's a lot of other things happening behind the scenes that help us deliver optimal care to St. Charles County.
Yeah, well, I love that you're so proactive because, you know, when you're dealing with health and oftentimes situations of life and death, you know, to be as prepared and as proactive as possible is fantastic. And, you know, like the File for Life and the Rapid Access, I mean, those are brilliant programs. So I'm
It's
glad
simple.
you mentioned.
It's simple, but I'll tell you, Ken, as I often tell groups, it just helps that emergency flow more smoothly. We get it. It's always going to be a stressful situation, but if we can put a couple of things in place on the front end, it can just alleviate a little bit of that
Yeah.
when if the emergency occurs.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know, you know, some of those things aren't really comfortable for people to deal with sometimes.
Sure.
But you know, but I mean, nobody really wants to face their mortality, but at the same time, you know, give yourself the best fighting chance you've got, right? And take advantage of these programs.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, I get it. Nobody plans on having to call 911. Nobody wants to have to go have an ER visit and maybe an inpatient stay. But again, set things up so that it can go as smoothly as possible in the event that it does occur. I mean,
Yeah.
again, the goal is always for it not to, but we don't always get to plan for absolutely everything.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Kyle, thanks so much. I always love talking with you,
Oh,
and please
likewise.
pass
This was
along.
great.
Yeah, pass along my thanks to, you know, your entire team. You guys are absolutely fantastic. You're so important to, you know, all aspects of our community. And, you know, we all, I know we all really appreciate it, even if we don't always say it. So thank you
Wow.
guys so much.
And I will say that our community is one that does say it. They say it loudly. They say it all the time. We could not ask for a more supportive community to serve it. And I mean, the crews get a little bit embarrassed by it too. But at the gas station, at the grocery store, at Starbucks, wherever they go, they've got folks, you know, saying, "Hey, we appreciate you guys. Thank you."
Yeah.
And it is, and we don't take it for granted because it's not like that in every community.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Kyle. Best of luck to you and your team. And I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks very much for having me. I appreciate it. Have a
All right.
great day.
Thanks. You too.